The bunyip are the dark swamp dwellers and sea dwellers of Australia, and they are not pleasant sight to lay your eyes upon. Its name can literally be translated as the devil, and that's exactly the way Aboriginal populations saw this creature. Different people describe different physical characteristics of this entity, varying from a seal-like black creature with 4 limbs, to a weird creature long as serpent but with a face of an L. Are these all different creatures? Can the bunyip shapeshift? Both theories seem equally possible. Some give it a mug like that of a domesticated dog 6 feet in length, others claim it's much bigger, a round small-headed, long-necked curiosity as long as 15 feet from head to tail. The only thing that seems to not shift and change in the description of the bunyip is creature's behavior. They scream with an unnatural voice that frightens the community, both near and far from the allegedly inhabited water sources. The Aboriginal people also believed that this creature is predatory in nature and actively preys on and eats humans. They claim the creatures practice malevolent magic, making them not only sentient, but also sapient, and with their terrible mind control lure people to their demise, or effectively curse the people with misfortune, bad luck, illness, or even death. Knowing this, the theory that the bunyip may be a single shape-shifting inhuman sorcerer doesn't seem all that far-fetched, and giving its supernatural and aquatic nature and by some accounts, also unnaturally glowing red eyes, and indeed, the bunyip may be a malevolent spirit rather than a hostile cryptid.
The Gelada was a son of a deity, but unlike his godly father, he himself had nothing righteous or divine in him. His actions are more akin to these of a demon called the evil god or the god of wrongdoing. This entity really deserved his reputation. As any water spirit, he is associated with water sources, mugs and rivers and such, but it's not the water itself that he hunts from. He's frequently said to dig himself into the sand and lay in wait like a stalking tiger, or crouching snake, ready to strike. To the men, he has no business doing anything. Women though. Let's just say he's not into concept of consent. He is said to be your typical, supernatural, semi-divine and semi-demonic predator, and he doesn't hunt for food. Yes, that's right. He is said to jump off from the sand, tackle the unsuspecting woman and then rape her. After the rape, he possibly lets the hurt and frightened woman go, knowing that mortals wouldn't do anything to him. The women are not known to fall pregnant after such encounters, so it's likely he does it not to procreate, but for simple, dumb fun of it. And I think it's beyond disgusting.
The Muljwank are a class of water spirits, or more precisely lake spirits from the folklore of Murray River and Lake Alexandrina inhabitants, that can take various forms. They can be huge, towering monsters, hairy, Bigfoot-like giants, or merman-looking spirits inhabiting waters, warding people away and sometimes attacking them. It is said to be supernatural, and according to one legend, the being once attacked an European steamboat, causing the captain to fire at it. And then the Capitan grew sicker every day, until he finally died, and the death was not peaceful. Some accounts speak of them as being the same creature as bunyip, while others claim they are distinct creatures, different from the black water devils. Either way, both creatures appear to cause supernatural terror among the Australian coasts. The creatures are said to hide among the seaweed, from which they can then emerge and attack a trespasser to their territory. According to a variation of a legend about these creatures, the original Muljwank was a human man, punished by drowning for his greed and transformed into a cursed creature. The modern-day Australians are not said to fear this mighty being anymore, though. According to the elders, the creature no longer inhabits the rivers of the region and the people there are safe. A question remains. If they left Australian rivers, where did they go then?
Coming from the legends of the Western Arnhem lands in Australia, the Yauk are alluring, feminine, malevolent water spirits inhabiting any and all freshwater sources local to the region. They look like your stereotypical mermaids, humanoid female face and torso, but from hips down, a massive tail of glistening fish scales emerge. They are amphibious, unbetoning, and underwater and are sometimes seen sunbathing at the verges of their watery homes. The tale claims that two of the local girls camped too close to a sacred lake that decided it doesn't like the boldness and cursed them to stay inside forever in half humanoid, half piscine forms. Some say this lake was a personal property of local supreme god, the rainbow serpent, and he took mortals getting too personal with his waters personally, therefore forcing them to stay in the lake forever. Now they take on the roles of guardians, and when a human comes too close to the sacred springs, they have no business being around, no matter adult, elderly, or little child. They will end up drowned by the monstrous beings who were once just innocent bypassers, just like them.
Not much is known about the Morakawa. Most of the time they are referred to either as Mai mermaids or as individual species of the tiny wet dragons. Regardless what version we go by, they are considered monstrous by both standards. In stone carvings, they are often depicted as humanoids with fishtails, but some depictions add more monstrous elements, like mouthful of crocodile-like fangs. Whether the creatures are Sevatar from the Tenua or are meant to represent the humanoid forms these mighty dragons take is unknown. They are said to possess tube-like holotons in all their forms. These holotons the mighty spirits would use to suck in the fish they preyed upon in their natural water habitat.
Pania is a mysterious figure of the Maori people's folk legend, and as you may already guess, yes, I can draw certain similarities between her and another folklore legend. She really reminds me a bit of the French Melusine and a bit of the Polish legend of the Mermaid of Warsaw. She was once a beautiful maiden, who lived at the coast of the North Island, enjoyed swimming among the local reef and its various aquatic creatures during the day. By the sunset, she returned to the stream flowing into a bay near the nowadays Napier city to rest. A handsome son of town's chieftain frequently drank the water from the same spot after long hours of job, to quench his thirst, and at times, the beautiful girl spied on him from a hiding place. She was enamored by the young man, but scared that he will reject her advances. She mustered up a courage and whispered a spell that will make him notice her. When he heard her voice, she emerged from the hideout and the man instantly fell in love with her. The chieftain's son, named Karatoki, and the beautiful Pania quickly began their relationship and soon enough, got married in secret. She also told him her greatest secret: she was not a human, but a siren. And each morning she was obliged to return to her siren sisters, or else she may die if she stays too long on the land. The man agreed, and such relationship continued every sunset, until one day he boasted to his friend that his beautiful wife is a non-human siren spirit. That friend laughed him off, which hurt his feelings, and he consulted a local elder, hoping that he would at least believe him. The elder suggested the young man that he feeds his wife with cooked food. He explained that as a creature of the waters eats any cooked food, they wouldn't be able to return to the water anymore, and hence she will stay with him forever. That night, as Pania slept, Karatoki took a morsel of cooked food and put it in Pania's mouth. As he did so, an owl screeched behind her window, startling her awake. Realizing that her husband put her life in danger, she rushed into the sea and dove in, assisted by her frightened siren sisters. When people now look deep into the water over the reef, some say they can see Pania with arms outstretched, appealing to her former lover. It is unknown whether she is imploring him to explain his treachery, or expressing her continuing love. Whatever the case may be, Karatoki was left alone with a young son that inherited his mother's powers and in later adult life, became a guardian spirit of the reef. His name was Mormor, and he is said to live as a guardian spirit to this day, taking the form of a shark, squid or other aquatic beings, to protect the reef and its inhabitants like his mother once did.
The Ponturi are type of malefic water spirits, most of them ghoul-like or goblin-like in appearance, who live underneath the water shores and only emerge at night, as sunlight is lethal to them. This is illustrated in a tale about Tawahaki, a thunder spirit whose father have been killed by the malevolent water goblins. In retaliation, the spirit hero tricks them that sun had went down, by covering the holes to their resting places. This wakes the Ponturi up from their slumber, and upon them emerging from the water, Tawahaki uncovers the crevice entries and the blazing rays of sun hit and evaporate the evil entities into dust. Another legend describes the Pontori guarding the entrance to a cave another hero had to went to in order to retrieve the bones from his deceased father. He spies of the underwater creatures, learns the magic they use and uses one of their own incantation against them, destroying all of them and retrieving the bones to be buried. Another time a local Chiarapupuk investigates the drowning of his son and comes upon the house of Pontori. He burns their house, leading the spirits to have nowhere to go, and as the sun rises again, all of them are killed by its light. The Taniwha are large, often serpentine or dragon-like beings from Maori folklore, residing in dark caves, rivers, pools and in the deep sea, often associated with and linked with dangerous tidal water activity, believed to be the ones causing it. They had pretty ambiguous, dual nature. While seen as protectors and benefactors by some, others describe them as dangerous predators, who are not above kidnapping human women to force them to be their wives, lovers and slaves. In Polynesian language, their name is associated with large sharks, and some are thus led to believe that they may be an undiscovered shark species. Others point out their alliance with the Mo'o, the dragon-like spirits or deities, who they share many mutual characteristics with, placing them more in line with reptilian-like beings, rather than piscine. Both are huge, monstrous and serpentine in their dragon forms and can freely assume human form or other animal forms whenever they wish, and both have fondness for sleeping with human women. Both Taniwha and Mo'o are considered equally benevolent and harmful, depending on who tells the tale. They can assume a wide variety of shapes, from giant sharks, to colossal tuatara-like lizards with spiky scales on their backs, or as unassuming as an ordinary gecko. This led to many confusions among both the folklorists and the locals as to what these creatures are, how they look and what their motives can be. They can tunnel through the earth like moles with ease, uprooting the trees above them as their huge bodies move around. They can cause landslides beside bodies of water they move around as their home or domain, and can carve brand new paths for the open water to flow, creating lakes, streams and rivers. They are said to guard ancestral sites or items, like canoes used by ancestors, and watch over a particular pieces of land. When approached with appropriate respect, they can show mercy and even kindness to the humans in their domain. They may warn them of upcoming enemies or danger and provide shelter. But as intelligent beings of free will, they could be pissed off too, and when that happens they can turn on whole cities, tribes or nations of who they perceived their enemies, or enemies of those they came into pact with, and upon waging a war with humans, these entities are notorious man-eaters. It was said that a devotee of these spirits can be granted a transformation into a Taniwha themselves, upon their deaths, and they rise again, not as humans in flesh, but as powerful serpentine spirits gifted with near-divine powers all Taniwha possesses. Sometimes female Taniwha marry human men and bear them children. In this case, the offspring will also be of a great power. On the Makira Island settled on the Solomon Islands, a race of malevolent spirits called Adari is said to exist. They are a kind of disembodied ghosts that can freely possess any tree or animal they desire. Despite their evil and malevolent nature, they are said to be ordinary humans in their earthly life. The difference between the Adaro and the spirits of humans is that in the mythology of the country people have two souls. While one transcends, the other may remain on earth, spiteful for its death, willing to harm any living human, because they were not granted second life. These malevolent sides of something that used to be human often possess marine animals like sharks, squids, octopuses, fish. They are said to reside in them and attack and maim humans in this shape. The possessed animals become vessels for the wrathful entities, therefore they kind of count as water spirits, as they seem to favor water animals more than any other. Despite this marine preference, people say you can encounter an Adaro everywhere, from the coast of the sea, to the furthest, driest land, from the water depths to the lush vegetations of gardens and forests. No one is jolly safe from them, as sharks, They can drown you, as snakes, they may suffocate you, or, if they are more sadistic, torture you with demonic dreams and illnesses before they take your life. In general, these are not the lads you wanna meet in a dark corner.
The Kasoko was a mighty chimera-like being. Aquatic in nature, yet his head was that of a petrel bird of the sky, while his body was humanoid, as if of the land. This giant's skin and feathers glistened in the moonlight as he emerged from beneath the waves, but his beauty was deadly. Kasoko's wings stretched wider than the longest war canoe, each feather sharp as obsidian and shimmering with colors that had no names in the human tongue. When he spread them against the sun, entire villages fell into shadow. His face held the fierce beauty of a hunting hawk, and his eyes, those terrible, penetrating eyes, could pierce straight through to a person's soul. The mighty birdman knew you better than you know yourself, and the feeling of them observing and judging your soul was enough to feel crushed and weak against the near-omniscient force. But the Kasoko was not a villain. He was not evil. He was a guardian. Judging your soul, he determined whether you will be allowed to go home, safe although a bit psychologically shaken, or kill you mercilessly, drowning you and writing of your body never to be found. Not because he hated you. Because he felt your intentions. If you're there to overfish, to destroy the lush reef beneath your boat, or to pollute the waters with your land waste, the bird guardian will have no mercy and you are sure to not return home anymore. If you're there just to catch fish to eat, or do anything that will not damage the ecosystem, you're free to go. Make no mistake. Kasoko is not an environmentalist freak. He's a fierce protector of his home and his family. The reef is where he was born, the sea is where he belongs, the sea creatures and marine spirits inhabiting the waves are his kindred. His family. And if you invade his home and rob it, if you assault or murder his family, he's going to react. And this reaction will be swift, brutal, and bloody. He is a danger, but a wise danger that reminds us the importance of coexistence instead of exploitation, sharing over abuse and rational use of resources over destruction. He's a harsh teacher that takes no prisoners, but a teacher nevertheless.
To be honest, I haven't found too much info about who or what the Nguzu, or Musu, is and what he does, but allegedly he serves as a protective figure for those sailing out. Numerous specialistic carvings on the war canoes used to swim into a battle with another tribe were often decorated and consecrated in his image in hope and belief that this affinity will make them the winning team, that the mighty water spirit cryptid will extend his protection onto his followers and grant them survival and victory.